Alright, so here we are starting turn 3. 20 years have gone by with the first 2 turns. It's different than in Civ. I think regular Civ4, every first section of turns is like, what, 100 years? Maybe even 200 years for these first few. But here we're starting with 10. Said it's going to be a long game. I've been debating about, with the Paris, the native culture. I was thinking, right up here, as you see, I've got all this sickness going on that's decreasing, taking me down to losing 3 food. And that losing 3 food is one of the things that's keeping me stagnant. I'm producing 4 food from my work tiles. I'm using up 3 because of my unhealthiness, 3 more because of the population, so I'm at -2. Problem would be, I've lost 1 health because of my population, 6 because of those civics that I showed you. We got 1 from fresh water, 3 is a bonus from the difficulty level. That's just the bonus that it gives me. Because I'm playing on such a low, kind of almost a beginner level. We're playing on what? Chieftain, I think. But I was looking, we don't really have any advancements. We've got the European culture, which is going to increase my borders and increase borders by increasing culture. Looking at berry bushes, just berry bushes themselves and the wild mushrooms themselves both give you unhealthiness until you learn herbalism. Because, berry bushes, basically you're collecting, remember, we're just grunting and pointing, so with the berry bushes, you're eating berries without any real clue as to whether they're good for you or not until you, start retching and falling over. And the same thing with the wild mushrooms. You get health with them after you get herbalism, but until then you get unhealthiness. And the root tubers would give us more food, but it wouldn't increase our health in it. Storage pit will be good. It will increase the percentage of how much we keep after we expand. It works like the prehistoric version of a granary, but since we're not producing any food and we're not growing, we don't need that right now. So once we discover herbalism, we can pretty much take care of our food health situation and start growing, but until then there really isn't anything better for us to do than the native culture as far as working along the lines of what I'm wanting to work on. Let's see, so I guess what we'll do is we'll keep moving our wanderer. Is there any way to get him? No, he's going to burn a full turn going up the hill. He's got 2 movement points, but it's always 2 movement points to move up a hill. So let's move our clubman over here and let's continue looking and seeing what we have. Looks like a lot more jungle. We have got a lot of jungle going on here. These more coconut palms? Yeah, more coconut palms. We have coconut palms there and there. Like I said, I think at some point in time they actually start producing coconuts. I'm wanting to say, because I remember, like I said, I was watching the Let's Play. It was Quill 18, and I do remember that in his early stages that he was producing coconuts at some point. So we'll just have to see how that goes. All right, next turn. Another 10 years have gone by. As you see, we're getting close to learning how to speak. We've only got 5 more turns to learn how to speak. And look over here, it is 5 more turns until we develop European culture. Alright, so let's move on down. We'll be able to come down this way. And let's cross over here and see what we have. Alright, over here you got bamboo. What else do we have? That's one of the new things here is very tall grass and more hills, jungle, and grasslands. Okay, we'll keep doing a few more turns while we're waiting for both our research and our building of native culture to commence. Let's move on top of this hill, see if we can get a better view of our surroundings. Yes, we did. More jungle. What do we got over here? A tar pit. Impassable tar pit. So we'll have to go around that. I think the mountains are impassable as well at the moment. Like I said, in later stages of the game, I do believe, because of that usable mountain setting, that you will be able to start developing mountains and moving through them. Alright, we've discovered the Riponofi rainforest. Like I said, in this game, you'll have these things are actually named. It's the personalized map, so that you don't just have to say that jungle over there. That's the Riponofi rainforest. Alright, and we have discovered melons, which is once again revealed by gathering. So as you see here, the melons, before we can use them, we will have to get irrigation, and then we will have to have, or they allow irrigation, I guess, and you require a seed camp. We'd have to set up a seed camp to be able to use them. And like over here, mango, you research orchards, and you need a fruit gathering camp. So we can't actually use either one of these resources yet because of our low technology levels. Like I said, you're starting out very, very low here. Obviously we haven't learned how to do language. We haven't even learned how to control fire yet. And we've got 6 whole victory points over here. Our scores are 6. Used to being up at least in the 40 to 50 range by now. Let's continue exploring out this way, knocking away the fog of war. Ooh, we've got some villager huts. Got a tribal village over there that we're going to move into next turn, see what we have going on. Let's move our wanderer over this way. Alright, a lot of coast. These things out here, by the way, these are unexplored islands that you find along the tropical coast. They are places that you definitely want to move units to. You have to actually have some sort of water unit that can cross across. A land unit cannot make it, but they're kind of like a sea version of a goody hut. The way you have these, what they call the goody huts here, the little tribal villages that you move into and get resources and things like that from them. These right here are basically the same thing as a coastal version of the goody hut, the little tribal villages, these unexplored islands. Okay, 3 more turns for language and culture. Alright, let's continue moving our wanderer this way. We're going to move into the very tall grass. Alright, he actually managed to have enough points to keep moving. I want to see what actually he discovered here. More swamp and more very tall grass. Alright, next up, let us move into this village. A small, even more minor tribe than we are. Let's see what they give us. They gave us 450 gold. That is one hell of an advancement there. Alright, let's take a quick look over here at Paris. Can we actually purchase? Can we speed that up? Doesn't look like we're able to spend any money to actually speed it up. Ahoy! Whenever we do have something to actually spend money on, that's going to be quite nice. Alright, 2 more turns. So as you see, you're getting a good picture of why it is that we will not be spending all of our time showing every single turn of the game. The Sea of Ramdos Iran. Okay. Why we won't be spending every second of a turn showing them on the video, because there's a lot of just wandering around in the meantime. Alright, next turn we should finish researching language, and we should also have developed native European culture. There we go. Language is not only the vehicle of thought, it is a great and efficient instrument in thinking. Humphrey Davy. Alright, having gotten language, we have added a happiness in all of our cities now. We can start developing native language, and it leads to the technology of cooperation. Cooperation gives leadership, loyalty. And what is our improvements? Our improvements is we can start developing native language, and that will give us extra to our research and more culture. So that is a very good path to go down. You can now implement native language. Let's see the big picture. We'll go to the civics page here. We need to go all the way down to language. See, with no language, we just grunts and gestures. With the native language, it's low upkeep. It's plus 5% to our beakers and plus 5% to our culture. So that's going to help take care of some of the penalties we've got in both of those. And it'll be 3 turns for our revolution. So we're going to be in anarchy for the next 3 turns and won't actually be completing anything for a while. That's why these numbers here are so high. No, they're not going to, it's not really going to take 284 turns to learn herbalism, but that's how long it would take if we continued under anarchy, because we're producing so few beakers while everybody's in a giant panic. Okay, so here's the big picture, the tech tree. These are the ones we have already: nomadic lifestyle, language, and gathering. We're going to move on down the tree, see what we have. We can develop cave dwelling, which would let us go down the path of developing Neanderthal culture, cave dwellings, and actually have Neanderthal troops. We can go to weaving. Weaving's a good one. It gives you silk, cotton, cloth, and rope will all be seen on the map. In addition, you can make your first archery unit, the slinger. That's basically the equivalent of the archer in ancient times. And then you make weaver's huts, yak farms, papyrus grove, mostly stuff that will give you some production and mostly money. So we're not really needing to go down that route at the moment. Scavenging's always a good one. You can make a scavenger count. You can make a clubman, which is a good thing to have. So we may have to go there pretty quickly. We've only got the 1 clubman right now, and we can definitely use some more military units. We've got the thief. That if we build a bandit's hideout, thief is kind of our first spy unit. As you see, invisible to most units, can attack without declaring war, etc. We got the pygmy units, bandit's hideout, crime. That kind of produces on its own. It exists for above 275 crime units. We have carry-on, which will increase our food but also increases our unhealthiness. Tide pools do the same until we learn cooking. Loyalty advancement for your units. These little blue ones that are here, these are your promotions. Remember in CIV4, whenever your unit gains experience, it can get an advancement, and this is one of the advancements, is loyalty. And then heroic is one of the others. And then we have, like I said, cooperation, which leads to when you develop it, it only gives you a couple of unit promotions, but it does lead right to the knowledge of gathering. I mean, not gathering, oral tradition, which has got some good stuff for research and all that, because you're starting to actually pass on information, not only speaking to each other, but you're doing what we're doing here. We're passing on information verbally to the next generation, and using it to learn and increase your knowledge. But I really think that right now we need to go to herbalism. Herbalism will give us wild herbs, which will increase our health by 1. It will reveal tea on the map, it will reveal tobacco, reveal opium, basically any of the herbs. And then as you see here, it will increase berry bushes health by 1 and wild mushrooms health by 1. So this would greatly move toward getting rid of our unhealthiness problem that we're having in Paris, and might actually get it so that we can actually start growing the city.